All right, family. I should be live right now. I like popping up on y'all. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, here we go. I like popping up on y'all, surprising y'all with these shows sometimes. It's just, I've been doing this so long. I got to find ways to make it fun and different. You know what I'm saying? So just popping up on y'all. Y'all like my background, by the way? I'm in the cosmos today, y'all. From now on, I'm gonna be in the cosmos, y'all. I swear, I'm gonna be in the cosmos. I'm just Brother Rich is just a hologram to begin with. So I'm really gonna fulfill this hologram role that I'm playing, and I'm gonna submit to my high self and just let y'all know that what I'm saying, I'm multidimensional. I got some wonderful guests with me tonight. I got Billy Carson, as y'all all know by now, and a new guest tonight, Ashera Star Goddess, and I hope I'm saying that right. But welcome to the show, Queen.
Thank you.
So let me see what's going on in the chat. Oh yeah, the chat filling up fast. So we got an awesome show for y'all because listen, man, y'all know it's never a dull moment when Billy Carson come on here with this information. I mean, you're gonna hear stuff. They got us. You see how much they got us dumbed down with politics and the Proud Boys and the BLM movement and all this great. Y'all see what y'all, and this is in the middle of one of the greatest awakenings in the last 1,000 years. We're thinking about the Proud Boys and BLM, Trump and Biden and Kamala. This is what we're thinking about while our DNA is awakening. So this is why I gotta do shows like this, and I gotta change, switch it up on y'all sometime. But the people filling in the chat, I'm gonna let y'all fill in the chat. We're gonna have a magnificent talk tonight. Yeah, peace to the family, peace to everybody in the chat room. You know what y'all could do? Share the link. Share a link with somebody, so as many people could get in here as possible. Because this year, 2021, is a very important year. You're gonna talk to your grandchildren, great grandchildren, or whatever about this year, 30, 40, 50 years from now, 20, whatever years from now, because they're gonna say, well, what were you doing, mommy, daddy, grandpa, grandma, or great grandma, great grandpa in 2020 and 2021 when the Great Awakening happened and it was a huge paradigm shift? And you're gonna have to explain to them. So, you want to have something good to tell them about. So, and I'm done rambling for now. I really just want y'all to fill in because I know I surprised y'all. So I want y'all to come into the chat and yeah.
Better share this link too.
Proud of that. Yeah, so they coming into the chat room. Shout out to everybody. I guess to start out with, I had to make some adjustments real quick, family. So before I start out with, let me give a shout out, as always, to my brother. The brother always advertised with me. The brother King Simon. This brother's one of the best when it comes to numerology. Matter of fact, my queen is on board to get a reading from him, and I was supposed to then send him the information. But you know me, I got 1,000 other things on my mind. I didn't send it yet. So I apologize to my queen and him because I got both of y'all waiting. I'm sorry. But this brother's the best when it comes to numerology. Make sure you hit him up if you want that reading, all right? Text your full name and date of birth, and the brother will get back to you at the appropriate time. All right, family? With that being said, all right, I see the family. The family's filling the room. It's going to be an awesome show. We lit tonight. All right, so Ashera, want to start out with you, my sister. This is your first time on the show. I guess you tell the people who you are, how you got your name, and who you are. Just because I seen your channel, I was impressed by your channel. Been trying to get you on for a while now. Finally got you on here, so I'm happy that I got you on here, sis. But tell the people why do you call yourself Ashera Star Goddess, and tell the people a little bit about yourself, my sister.
Hi. Well, I have a YouTube channel, and my name actually came from a painting that someone thought was actually me. And it was a painting of a goddess named Ashera. And so I looked at the painting, it was very similar. And so I looked up the goddess and read a little bit about her. And I said, oh, well, that's going to be my YouTube name. But the funny thing is, I was already going by Shira 7 on like different, social media platforms. So I just had to put the A on it at the beginning and, change the last part. But that's kind of what happened and how my name came about. So, And also on my YouTube channel, we focus on like symbolism, decoding things. We do like decoding current events. We just kind of break down what is hidden right in front of your eyes. So that's kind of what I, focus on my channel. So I think we learn a lot over there, and it helps connect a lot of dots during times like this. So.
Indeed, indeed. So, with that being said, what do you think is the most important thing that we should focus on right now? Because I just mentioned everything. If you look at mainstream media, I mean, if you're addicted to being stimulated, and your senses need to be stimulated, I mean, it's an amazing time for external stimulation right now. And I mean, they always got some juicy gossip drama. It's drama filled on TV all day, every day, from the political arena, the entertainment arena, the health arena. So there's so many distractions. What would you recommend our people what do you think is one of the most important things we focus on, our attention or our currency right now, which is our currency? Our attention is our currency. What should we focus on right now?
I would focus on why they want our attention so bad, and why they can't have it. I don't even watch the news unless I'm walking by and somebody else is watching. I don't even watch the news. It's I can see straight through stuff like that, and it's comedy show to me. So I focus on bettering myself, figuring out other ways to have another stream of income, or I read a book, or I do some research, or I just relax or go do something that's going to benefit me, or my family or whatnot. But it's not something I'm focusing on, because it doesn't give me anything back in return. So it's kind of pointless.
So you want to return on your investment. If you
Yeah,
invest your currency, you want to return on that, huh?
exactly.
Mm.
If you're not like, if I'm going to waste time, I need to be doing something productive, and to me that's not productive unless I'm going to decode what's actually going on and make a video about it.
Mm. Indeed. So I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad I got both of you on here. Um, the times is just different. I feel different. The way my imagination is different, is more vivid. I don't want to say, we always wait on a certain date for something to happen, but what I will say is that I just feel more powerful right now than I did 3 years ago. I don't know if it's the alignment, the conjunction, if it's 2021. I don't know what it is, but I feel absolutely amazing. And what's great is when you feel amazing for no reason. Sometimes we wait for a reason to feel amazing, but to feel amazing without a reason, that's some amazing things right there. So, my brother Billy is doing his workshop on at the Atlantean, what happened during the Atlantean Empire in that era, and that in the history of that era, and how it affects us, and how we can learn from that and utilize what happened back then to go on right now. And he's doing a workshop. What I want to know is, are we, because I'm saying I'm feeling amazing, because we're talking about the grand conjunction, and this is for both of this question is for both of y'all, because everything we've been hearing about the age of Aquarius, is this the return of what happened in that era? Are we going to experience our own version of what they experienced in that era?
That's actually a very good question. That's a great question, because it's
And
actually something I was
hold
going to
on, I'm
talk
gonna put
about
the link
tonight.
in the chat room. I'm sorry, Billy. I'm gonna put the link
Yeah, go
to
ahead,
that
drop it
workshop
in.
I'm talking about in the chat room. Go ahead, my brother.
So, if you look at the current era that we're in right now, the CE, and you go back in time to the current era of this same year, but in the past, you'll find a correlation. Every time you step back from the present to the past in the same exact time frame, you'll find similar things going on. It's really weird. It's like a time loop that we're in, right? It's just a different era, different characters are playing different roles, but the overall census is the same. Consensus is the same. It's the same exact situation. So if you go back to 2021 BCE, all of a sudden you discover they were headed into a quote unquote Aquarius time frame, even though it wasn't called the age of Aquarius. they were going into an awakening, and people on the planet were going into a special kind of awakening and beginning to wake up to certain things at that time in that era. So now here we come to 2021, and we're getting ready to really walk into another great awakening that's actually started happening already. It started happening just before 2012, and so we're really into it right now. So you know, it's interesting that the deeper you look into antiquity, the better you are going into the future. Because when you discover what truly really happened and how it directly affected us to this current generation, then we can make better decisions moving forward. Okay, so for example, sometimes me and you, Rich, we'll talk on the side off of the YouTube channel. We're talking about things, investments and business and things like that. I might say something to you. You'll ask me a question, and I'll say something to you. My answer to you is because I had gone through the long route of trying to figure out the answer to the problem or the situation to come up with a positive outcome. Now I pass that information to you based on my past experience. I give you now the information. You shortcut going through the same problem and issues and situations. So now you get to the treasure chest at the end of the rainbow faster. Right, because you don't have to go through everything I went through. I just shortcutted you right to the ending, right to the boom. There goes the box with the treasure in it. You see? So what happens is if we keep going forward thinking we can just worry about focusing on now and the future without really understanding the past properly, we're gonna stay in this same loop. It's time to break out of this loop and create a new future, a new paradigm shift, a completely new reality zone for everyone, and break the loop and continue on that path, obtain a golden age and sustain it. I don't see why we can't sustain it forever. There's no book written that says we have to keep going back down into this bronze age and coming back up to a golden again. Why can't we just sustain a golden age? I think it has to do with consciousness, it has to do with understanding, and it has to do with the right timing. And I think this time might be the right timing for the golden age to be able to sustain itself for a long term.
Ashera, you want to add on to that, or?
Yeah, I think that we are going back into like the same type of era, because I see a lot of similarities that are being invented that, you know, they describe as the technology back then. A lot of technology that has to do with crystals, anti-gravity, things like that. Also more focused on spirituality. A lot of people are awakening. And then you have like this split of people that want to, you know, do things for the right reason, or, you know, focus on the knowledge and the spirituality. And then you have the opposite where they want to focus on, you know, greed and control. So we kind of have that split like we did, but I think we're going more towards, you know, the enlightenment of it all. And until we get there, I think we'll be on that path. But I think, like Billy was saying, trying not to fall again from the golden age. That's going to be something that we have to keep working on. But I think that also has to do with like the law of rhythm. And some people don't know how to stop the swing of the pendulum when it comes to the law of rhythm. Which is why I think exactly what they're doing right now is creating a false narrative to kind of create the backswing. And if you could create your own reality by putting ideas or things that could be, or repeating the past in someone's mind, then you can repeat the past and make it the future. So I think that's kind of, they're trying to orchestrate that, but using humans and their ability to manifest the reality that they're presenting before them.
I want to ask both of y'all a question about the law of rhythm. I remember there was this DVD, I guess you would say. This was years ago, so we was using DVDs back then. This DVD set I bought, I think his name was Burt Goldman. It was called Quantum Jumping. He was talking about the law of rhythm and manifestation. And he said that one of the fastest way to manifest is to understand the law of rhythm. And he gave an example. He said, okay, we try to manifest with our thoughts and just thinking about something. But he said, when you tap into the rhythm of that quantum being you want to be, that's when you manifest like that. So say you watch Rocky and you want to be a boxer, and you start, hey, yo, you drink an egg. Remember when in Rocky drank the egg yolk, you drink the egg yolk, and you like, when you start talking like him and you start doing, he's like, when you start emulating the rhythm of what you want to manifest, you bring it to this realm, and it's such a strong connection that it manifests like that instead of just thinking thoughts or whatever. He was like, it's the rhythm, because he was like, everything is music and everything is movement, everything is vibration. He was like, we have to master the rhythm. He was like, that's when we happy, or when we get happy, it's because we don't listen to a song that had that rhythm of that happiness that we're trying to tap into. So talk to me, what you think about that, what he said, man? That was interesting.
That's interesting. I mean, really what he's talking about is the vibration, getting on the same frequency, you know. So what he's really, when you're imitating like Rocky and you're drinking the egg and you're going through the motions and maybe going for a jog down the street and running up some stairs and doing the whole thing like you did in the movie, you're trying to obtain the same frequency of that character. And because you're trying to move into that frequency in your mind, your gamma waves in your brain, the brain, when it gets on gamma, the waves oscillate at a very high, fast, close-in frequency. And this has been tested on actual laboratory tests, and it's been looked at on computers. And so once you try to mimic that same frequency, all of a sudden you get on the same gamma wave as that same thing you're trying to mimic or bring into your manifestation. And when that happens, it does manifest a lot faster because it's on the same frequencies. It becomes quantum entangled in the multidimensional realm, and that's how it manifests a lot faster. You're pulling something in from the same vibration, from the same frequency. So the author of that book, that gentleman, was actually spot on. That's pretty good information. Yeah.
You want to add on to that, Ashera, or
well, the law of rhythm, to me, I think.
Like you ever listen to a song, the next thing you know, you acting like that artist. Like, so let's say you listen to Mary J, then the rest of the day you acting like Mary J. And you're like, oh shit, I need to stop listening to Mary J. I'm tapping into her rhythm.
That's so crazy, because I was talking about that last night on my video, and I said I'm gonna put on my boots and go dance around in a circle, because I had on a.
Okay.
Never mind. It was just a joke, but it was funny. Yeah, and I do think that, because like when I put on a certain song or whatever, I get that energy. Like I can feel that energy from that artist, and I could kind of tap into what their message is in the song. Like it just depends on what song I listen to. I like to listen to things that are motivating or that take me to the next level. So it's like I can motivate myself to keep going and keep doing more. I don't listen to sad music or music that makes me want to cry or anything like that, because I don't want that frequency. So I try to listen to music that is like, get this money, or whatever. But I've heard your music before, and I have it on my playlist on Tidal. And I like y'all song Black Magic, and then the Spellbound song, and I like
Me and Cambada.
Yeah, I heard I listened to your music before I knew you even had a YouTube channel. So
yeah,
I didn't even know who you were.
Wow. Oh, that's dope. That is dope to have somebody who appreciated my music before. That's dope. Wow, that's dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Definitely. We talk about so many concepts in this spiritual community, and we talk about how the Atlantis, they probably had completely different perspectives on reality, on matter, on energy that we had, which enabled them to manifest at a much stronger and faster rate. One of the things that probably lock us down might be the English language. So what I want to ask you, because since Billy's doing this workshop on Atlantis, and I mean, I gotta yo, the stuff you told me off air on Atlantis, brother, and the things you about to do on the workshop, but bro, you like we gonna discuss you like an alien. We all aliens, but you an obvious alien. Like you can't even hide it.
Yeah.
Like some of us can hide it. Billy can't hide that the fact that he's an alien. So shout out to Billy and his alien ship or whatever. But the language we use. So we call English. This is the year so-called 2021. Mm-hmm. We use words like in spirituality like subconscious. Mm-hmm. So what I want to ask you is when we use the word subconscious, because subconscious is supposed to be this powerful force, mm-hmm. is that a trick by the ego to still make what's more important than it less important by calling it sub? So I'm the conscious mind, but then you got a sub. If you got a wife and you got a sub-wife, you know what the hell that means.
Right,
so you got a conscious and you got a subconscious, then it's like, nigga, you under me. So it's even the name subconscious a trick by the ego to say, nigga, all right, you there, but you sub.
Right.
You know.
Well, you hit it spot on. I mean, I did an actual workshop where I brought this up during the workshop. The fact that we're using the word subconscious when really that's our main first consciousness. Just like we talked about before when we were doing the eye imagination workshop, that the third eye should be called the first eye, not the third eye.
We said that, yes.
Right, remember? So the subconscious should not be called the subconscious. That's a wordplay situation. And that wordplay, unfortunately, because it is a word, it casts spells and it tricks you into believing it's something that's underneath, when to be honest with you, it should be the thing that actually, and is actually the thing that's on top. The main, what we're thinking is our main consciousness is actually mostly based off of illusory, okay? So our main awareness is mostly illusory. We're observing atoms, which are 99.999% empty space. And we think that we're interacting with these atoms as solid matter, when in true reality, the only thing that exists are electromagnetic waves and frequencies. And then our subconscious, which is the main conscious, is what actually interacts with those waves of potential and collapses them into things that we feel are or we think are solid. So we're creating our reality. The subconscious is an active participant in creating reality. Therefore, it should be the top conscious, not the subconscious.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So
it's amazing. That's add something real quick. The Anunnaki call themselves the ordainers of destinies, the kings of them. They knew about this, and they put together a system millennia ago, eons ago, that had humans thinking everything was subservient to their level, and everything that the human experience was based off of pure illusions. Everything that they presented, everything they set up around us was fake. And they made us believe in that fakeness because why? Because your wants and desires don't create manifestation. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe. And that's how they set us up. So
Billy, Ashera, so what if I have, so this is a subconscious program. Subconscious does based on what we believe. What if I believe the COVID-19 vaccine is going to work? The Pfizer. What if I believe in my heart I'm a patriot? I believe in my heart whatever science, the government, everybody tells me, Big Brother, everybody tells me is right. And in my heart, I believe that vaccine is going to work. And then I hear brothers like you, or let's say if Dr. Sabi was alive or whoever, tell us about what's really going on behind the scenes. Am I wrong for believing it? Is it going to work because I believe it's going to work?
It's not going to work because you believe it's going to work. What's going to happen is you're going to get injected. Okay, so what you're manifesting is when you believe in certain things, you're making the reality of what they're going to do with that instrument that they're using to manipulate you occur. It doesn't mean that it's going to actually physically work in this reality on your avatar body, but what it means is you fell for the foolish, you fell for the trick, you fell for the okie doke basically. And now, because you believe that, you're manifesting their reality. They are energy vampires. See, it works both ways. And there's a lot of little trickery to this whole scenario in this system. And you have to understand when spells are being cast and when you're being programmed as well. That's where discernment comes in. So just because you believe, I believe that I can beat Michael Jordan. I really do. But 99.99% of the time, he's going to probably beat me. I have to catch him on a really bad day and I'll beat him. But I'll take the challenge and I'll believe that I could beat him. But the odds are most likely he would beat me. So you see, but the thing is, what did I manifest out of that? By believing I can beat Michael Jordan, I manifested the opportunity to play him one-on-one. That's the part that manifested. You see, I had the opportunity. So believing in that you're going to get this this healing or this cure from getting injected with something is also going to manifest, but you're going to manifest the injection. The cure part was the scam.
Yeah, because they tell you what it is, but most people aren't wise enough to go and research what what they're giving you. And so if they say it works, it doesn't mean that it's going to work in a positive way. It just means it's going to work for what it was created to do. So the word trickery, like Billy was saying, the spell is giving you the information, but depending on you not to research it and just go line up to take, the injection. Because I was speaking about how they were going to inject certain things via our RNA like a year and a half ago. And I found these studies online from like Stanford Brown University and a couple other places, MIT, and they have been researching how to introduce certain things via RNA into, people in order to change their DNA. So that's on my channel. And I really think I call this it's kind of deep, but I call it, loading up Noah's Ark in a type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think what's in there is really what they're saying is in there. And I think they're using this as a way to quantum entangle many people at the same time in order to shift into a different reality.
I believe that.
Talk about what do you mean? I want to fully understand what you say when you say they want to quantum entangle us to shift into. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know how you have your DNA and it's programmed and that there's energy in there, and someone takes your DNA or your stem cells or whatever, and that's connected to you. And if you connect it to someone else, now you're quantum entangled.
Okay.
And if you if you're mentally shifting to another reality, you're taking part of them with you. So it's kind of like quantum tunneling or hitching a ride.
Yeah,
hitching a ride. Okay,
that's what I call it.
Ooh, okay, I like how you said that.
I talked about this in my Manifest Destiny workshop last weekend. Whoever was on this, as I'm sure a lot of your people were on there, when I talked about the fact that I showed a video from a former military personnel that was doing a presentation, a technology presentation to the military officers. And he was talking about how they now have the capability of linking a person's mind to another person's mind and then putting the other person or a group of people on remote control, where one person can be behind the scenes. This is a live experiment they did, watching a video game, and the other people can have the joysticks in their hand and they can actually remote control, make them actually move their thumbs and control the game and hit the targets. And it works. There is no requirement for distance. It works unlimited distances, and they can remote control people. They can take, they can inject you with a cell that has altered RNA encoding in it, and then they can remote control you from any distance and make you do things that they want you to do. This was an actual real military workshop and held by military officers. So that was in the Manifest Destiny workshop, because I want to show people that if they can do it artificially, we can do it naturally and spiritually. That's why I showed that clip. But what Ashera just talked about is absolutely correct, 1000%.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is why I gotta have shows like this. I swear, this is why I gotta have shows like this. What do you think about? I remember one time, you can't talk about spirituality without talking about sacred geometry. and there was a sister one time. I'm not gonna say her name, an elder sister, and she did a workshop on sacred geometry and healing, and telling the people as far as the simple aspect of just looking at sacred geometry and the shapes or whatever can be healing to your body. And some people got mad saying that it was it was a scam or whatever. Talk to me. What do you think about sacred when you see sacred geometry? When you see these symbols, like a lot of us talk about, how can that possibly to somebody who doesn't understand be healing to me? If I think I got to eat food to heal myself, how can looking at something involving sacred geometry be healing to me?
Well, if you look in the Animal Tablets of Thoth, I wrote about it in my book, Compendium of the Animal Tablets. Thoth talks about geometric shapes and figures. He talks about sacred geometry. He talks about mitosis, even though it's not called mitosis in the book. He's talking about the circles that create life, that duplicate and replicate one layer over another, which then create the seed of life all the way till you get up to the flower of life. And so these sacred geometrical structures are a fundamental basis or part of the universe itself. And he understood this. The thing about that he talked about with the sacred geometry is the fact that, and this is also in the Hermetic principles, and it's talking about all is mind, the main principle. And so these sacred geometrical structures are fundamentally giving us the energetic forces that create everything in the third dimension, this entire fractal holographic universe. Now, because we're all part of the same fractal holographic universe, and we're actually fully immersed in this creation, the same energy grid that everyone is plugged into, all the answers, all the healing, everything you need is in this grid. And the thing about sacred geometry is it plays off of angles. And angles harness energy. So when you're focused on energy, like one of the main things that I look forward to when I go into my meditation is seeing the sacred geometric structures or seeing geometric figures in my meditation.
Ooh, so the angles harness angels. So the angles is angels.
The angles are angels, correct.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And they found, like, for example, the angles on the pyramid, they've now found that they actually harness energy directly from the cosmos. This is something that's well known. Now, if you put a pyramid structure over plants and you start to grow the plants and put the same exact plants on the outside of the pyramid structure, the plants inside the pyramid structure grow faster and larger than the ones on the outside of the structure. Why? Because the pyramid shape, the tetrahedron, it harnesses cosmic energy and it enhances the growth of plants and even people. So they found that if you lived inside of a pyramid structure, most likely, and if you were a healthy person, you may live longer. Your cells regenerate even faster. So the same thing's happening here. We're talking about sacred geometry. It's all about angles. And even quantum physicists talk about the fact that there are 11 dimensions that make up the universe, and they're all within a 90-degree angle of each other to get to the next dimension. So it's all about the angles, and the angles are the energy that binds us. Energy. The angles are also the force that keeps us slightly separated from other multiple dimensions, and also the same energies that create cell reproduction and healing as well.
Wow. Okay. So us just living in when you see a home in a square, that can slow down that could make us live a shorter lifespan. Like what if we lived in a pyramid, like the ancient pyramids? Will we live longer just by simply living our existence in a different sacred geometrical shape?
Yeah, this is a real science study that was done in Russia. Look it up, Russia pyramid research.
Mm-hmm.
They found a few things that are really interesting about the pyramid structure. If you're living inside of a pyramid structure, your cells regenerate faster. Anything that's growing inside that structure regenerates faster. And they even found a specific frequency that works better inside that structure, that they could point at different illnesses and diseases inside the body to help heal a person and even rewrite DNA through frequencies. So this was another thing that I talked about briefly in my workshop. But yeah, it's amazing research that's been done for decades now over there. And America, we know about it. I'm pretty sure they research this in the Black budget programs. but they don't bring it to the mainstream because, of course, they make a lot of money off of people getting sick.
Well, Ashera, when it comes to sacred geometry, and I know women are, especially Black women, the way y'all shaped are like, wow, objects of like, you could appreciate a Black woman. Like, it's like, wow, how does this, it's just an appreciation of beauty with Black women. So do you think the sacred geometry of the universe, and some women may say, well, hey, it's men, I walk down the street, men try to talk to me, that's y'all shouldn't do that, that's some misogynistic type of way of thinking. Do you think it's just in our nature to appreciate your beauty? Because obviously nothing is shaped like you. So do you think it's in our, when some people may say they're feminists, is that we just appreciate sacred geometry when we see it? Do you think that may be it, or talk to me about that, my queen?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's natural. I think some people take offense to it when it's at an inappropriate time, but
okay.
Some people may be looking for a compliment, but at the same time, I think women as well as men appreciate, the sacred geometry in beauty or looks or whatever. I think just some people may find it offensive because, society says, oh, this is not right or this is not right. But in other cultures, it's no big deal sometimes when someone walks by and you go, whatever, or, whatever. In some cultures, they take offense to it. So I guess it just depends on the culture, but I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that it's the same as seeing like something in nature that you find pretty and you can take a picture of it, or you can, admire, its beauty and say, oh, that's a beautiful tree. That's a beautiful flower. That's a beautiful waterfall. And it's, to me, it's the same thing. Like also architecture or like the pyramid, you can marvel at its beauty and not offend another building or bring down its value. So I just think that maybe sometimes it's expressed in a way that may not be appropriate, but I don't think it's offensive.
Okay. Yeah. Like I'm just, I'm trying to think like why we act like savages sometimes, you know what I'm saying? We act like savages. So I'm like, shit, is it just the sacred geometry that got us going like that or what? But yeah, definitely, sister. I want to talk to you. Like I said, I'm gonna be going. I'm just so happy to have. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. We got over 1,300 people in the chat room. Chat room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I know it's late. It's unannounced. I just popped up on y'all. That's how I like to do things sometimes. But shout out to everybody in the chat room. My brother Billy Carson got an amazing workshop coming up on the history of the Atlantean Empire and how learning about that could benefit you today. And I think that's extremely important. And one of the reasons I want to say this before I ask the next question, if I didn't think about Atlantis, I wouldn't even had a background like this. You see my background, family? I wouldn't even had a background. The reason why I pick some shit like this, because I'm like, nigga, I'm like, listen, what they did, listen, I could, when I talk, the lights move. So if I stop talking, hold up. If I stop talking, the lights stop moving. That's some Atlantis shit right there. Hold up. Give brother Rich. That's some Atlantis shit right there. So this is what I'm saying, fam. It causes you to stretch your imagination. Our imagination has been limited so much from television and the media and now social media that when you read Billy Carson's book, The Emerald Tablets, and you watch Ashera, the Star Goddess channel, and you hear these things, it stretches your imagination and it makes you say, I'm gonna do this. So it makes me say, I'm gonna sit in the background and the lights is gonna go over me like that, and I'm gonna have my name, just this what they call crazy shit, but to you is just you manifesting you because you got rid of the limits placed on you by society. So I want to say that. And after saying that, what I forgot, I forgot the question I was about to ask. What I want to say after saying that, right? Hold on. I just had they're not coming up now. Okay, it's all good. So, but anyway, based on that, what I want to say is what do you think in terms of spirituality, and in terms of if we're entering a new paradigm, does that mean because everything is connected together, so does that mean a new language or a new color or a new form of music? Is something new should come about to coincide with this new paradigm that we're entering?
Right. Well, we're starting to see the beginnings of the newness of what is manifesting. For example, new music, your music. Ashera just said she was listening to you and Kambata's music before she even knew you had a YouTube channel, right?
Right.
We got Donnie Arcade, we got Cruz, we got Londrell, we got the late great Jackson Turner, who just passed away, unfortunately. You know, we have Richard Wagner, we got all these conscious artists. I got 120 songs in global distribution. And together, all of us combined on the Return of Enki album was on Billboard with conscious music, right? On Donnie Arcade's album. So the tide is starting to turn where the music is going to change. A lot of people are putting out music. We were doing the 432 hertz and 528 hertz music back in 2015. Right. All of a sudden now, just about everybody wants to start moving in that direction, changing the hertz on the frequency of the actual music so that people can enjoy it better and get a healing from it instead of getting negativity from it, right? And then also we're seeing language change, maybe not English changing to another language completely or other languages changing, but the way that people are using the words in the language, right? So when we're talking to each other, I'm calling you brother, you calling her queen, I'm calling you a king. Okay. We're empowering each other. We're saying words of gratitude toward one another, where before, maybe 5-10 years ago, the language was being used, but the wording was all about negativity. And, you know, I wasn't calling Ashera a queen maybe 10 years ago. Maybe I was calling her something else to start with a B or a H, you know? Okay. You know, so it's all about the growth and the level of our consciousness. And now what's happening is we'll address people with the same dignity and respect that we want to receive ourselves. So when I realize that you are just another version of me, she's just another version of me, why would I disrespect myself? I'm going to treat her like a special person. I'm going to treat you like a special person because that's the same way I'm treating myself. And when unconditional love and that type of consciousness spreads around with those kind of thoughts, the conversation, the way the words are used, the nouns and pronouns and verbs and all of that, and even our conjunctions are all going to be targeted towards empowerment and lifting people instead of pulling people and dragging people down. And that's what you're going to see as we move into this new paradigm shift. The way that people use the words and the phrases is going to become totally different. The way we hear music, and even, of course, TV is going to be different. Just like you see, we got Forbidden Knowledge TV. You have your own little channel that you're working on, okay? And so why are we doing that? Because we're tired of the negative programming on the mainstream. So we've now created all these alternative channels where people can go and turn to hear some different kind of information and hear some positive programming that they can utilize in their life right now. So this is what's going to happen, and it's going to continue. Clothing is going to become more conscious. Everything's going to become more conscious. Not that it ain't going to be sexy, but the premise behind it and the energy put into it is going to be conscious energy, which is going to make the clothes powerful, metaphysical clothing and everything else. So everything is moving in that direction, you know? That's what I feel, man.
Indeed.
I agree. I can see a lot of the clothing and like t-shirts and things like that in the stores right now with lots of symbols and like pictures on it that are very spiritual, you know, versus 5 years ago. You just have like some, you know, graphic art that didn't really mean much. But now they're putting a lot of symbolism in the clothing or, you know, t-shirts or even just the name of the brand. So I feel that that's why it's important to know what a lot of these words mean and what these symbols mean, because you could be walking around with a shirt on or a symbol on that means something totally bad, and wondering why, stuff is going wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could be something great.
Mm,
And like, oh, this is my favorite shirt because nice things happen to me when I wear it, you know.
mm,
So I believe that it's going to become more conscious, like you said, and it's going to take off. And I think that's probably something people should get into if they're looking for, you know, a new stream of income. There's websites where you can design t-shirts, mugs, cups, and all that kind of stuff for basically for free. And you can put pretty much your own artwork on it, or something that you design, or something that's copyright free. And
mm.
that's a stream of income, plus you're empowering people with symbolism and consciousness at the same time, and you're going to get paid.
Mhm.
Indeed, indeed.
That's right.
What I want to do, I want to ask y'all, once again, I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'm going to share the link once again, my brother Billy. Everything we're talking about is going to be discussed in the upcoming workshop. You know what I'm saying? I just put the link in the chat room, family. It's going to be an amazing workshop. Like I say, family, my imagination, if I didn't know certain things, I couldn't tap into certain things I tap into. So I think when we talk about 2021 and we talk about the conjunction and the new paradigm and the age of Aquarius, I think the thing that's king, if we want to say king in that era, is the imagination. Imagination is king in this era. It's the queen, or let's say queen, or whatever term you want to use. Um, it's the top of the food chain in this era, the imagination. So whatever allows you to tap into that, you need to tap into that. You need to be childlike. You need to be childlike, family, and that's what this workshop. I mean, the brother, we're gonna go into that in a little while, but what he's doing is so advanced, bro. It's like, how the fuck does he even think about this type of thing? So we're gonna get into that in a little while. What I want to do first, I want to ask y'all. I'm gonna ask y'all a series of four quick questions. The first three, just answer with a quick question, and then the fourth one, y'all could elaborate on. So let me ask y'all. Remember, four questions. They're all related to each other. The first three, it could be one word or one sentence, but the fourth one, y'all could go in on. And I'm gonna let y'all know. So let's do it like this. Question number one, quick answer. Are you done with the Earth realm?
No.
You said no. Okay, Ashera, go ahead.
Not yet.
Oh shit. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Okay, number two. Who do you love most in your life? A daughter, son. It doesn't have to be love most, but it could be a group, collective, or whatever. But yeah, you get the point I'm trying to make. My family, it could be whatever. Go ahead.
Everybody on the planet.
Go ahead, Ashera.
A safe answer, everybody, because I can't pick one.
Okay. Question number three. Would you come back? Let's say you're done with this mission and you're supposed to move on to another galaxy, whatever. Would you come back to help whatever individual that it was that you had to help, that you love so much and you had to help them? Would you come back here just to help them?
Well,
Billy first.
if I already moved on, I probably going to continue on my new mission, to be honest with you. Their energy, they need to learn their
Quick
own.
answer, Billy. I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Yeah, you go ahead.
He said no. Billy said hell no. Cheryl, go ahead. We gonna come right back to that, Billy. So don't. Cheryl, go ahead. What's your answer to that? Would you come back to help somebody you love?
I wouldn't have left if there was somebody here that I still loved. I would kind of stayed around. I'll wait for their great grandkids and then I'm out.
There you go. Okay, last question. Y'all can elaborate on everything I just asked with this question. Based on everything I just asked, those three questions I just asked, and things I'm thinking in my mind, it appears sometimes I could be fearless. I could be, we talk about this tyrannical government and the 1% that rule things, and I could be like, man, fuck them. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I could live fearless. But as soon as I get a child, as soon as I get a wife, or as soon as a female gets a husband, you got somebody you love, then you got something to live for besides yourself, then you become more compliant to the rules of this matrix. So the question I want to ask is love the ultimate? Love is supposed to be the only word that we got to describe the infinite in God, but love seems to be the only thing that the ultimate thing that keeps us down here. Because when people sell out, they sell out to protect their family, or they do whatever they got to do to protect their family. So isn't the same thing that's the ultimate deity is the same thing that keeps us locked down in the matrix? That's where I was getting, family. Go ahead.
That's a great question. It's actually very interesting because it's actually pretty accurate. So, of course, you want to operate in a level of unconditional love. But when you love someone that's near and dear to your heart, you'll do anything for them. I mean, people that I love, I will take a bullet for them. I will jump in front of a bullet and take that bullet for them. And I've told them this before, So, when you're operating under that level of love, you will do things that normally you wouldn't do, obviously. I would try to help a stranger, but I'm not quite sure if I would take a bullet for a total stranger. I would love them. I would try to stop the situation, but I may not be able to end it. And I probably wouldn't jump in front of the bullet because I know I have people that are near and dear to me, probably at home, my family members, my grandchildren are relying on me, and I don't want to take that risk. But I would do it for them. So there is a level of compliant mindset that you get to when you're operating with that personal love at a close level, that kind of does keep you locked down and forces you to make some really, really tough decisions that you probably normally wouldn't have to worry about if you didn't have that close, in tight, loving situation. So it's kind of a catch-22 in a weird kind of way where, wow, you can really keep yourself a little bit kind of in the matrix grid for someone else. You'll make that sacrifice of yourself for someone else. And unfortunately, there's no way around it. There's no way to change. Not that I can see. There's no way to really fix that or change that. It is what it is,
I would be, for me, I think that's so true. It becomes the trap, but it also becomes like the reason you fall or the reason you stay behind. And it's a frequency. They say, okay, love is the strongest frequency, but at the same time, if you're going to use something to control a group of people, then are you using that frequency in the correct way? Like he was saying about, someone will kidnap your family and make you do some crazy stuff, and you would do it because of love. So to me, it can be misused as well. So you have to be careful on how it's being used against you or how you're using it against yourself. And I think that love is something like, between mother, child, father, child, parents, family, siblings, and things like that. But when they try to manipulate you with the love factor, that's when the frequency is being misused. So we have different frequencies and we can use them for this and for that. But if we misuse them and use them for the wrong reason, that's where things get tricky.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely.
Now, do you think, you're doing this workshop, Billy, the end of this month, and we're talking about the Atlantis Empire, and we're talking about, how advanced they were. And when we look at the people, when we look at the people who excel in this society, or who create some of the more advanced things that we got going on in society, Elon Musk, or let's just say P. Diddy or whoever, they have a strict schedule. They have a certain thing that they do, whereas the average person may say they're selfish, or the average person may say, they only think about themselves, or they don't, they only love themselves or whatever. It sounds great to fantasize about the Atlantis Empire, but will we think about them differently if we experiencing them firsthand? If we see, for them to be that successful, would they have to have, because we think success means cutthroat. In our biology, we think success means I got to cutthroat somebody. I got to cutthroat somebody to be successful. Was it that same way back? Has it always been like that? Or is just a new concept that we have created in our civilization? And then back then, they had a different concept.
Well, unfortunately, This is something that is probably millions or maybe even billions of years old. This concept of the way that we're acting right now, we learned it from them. Human beings have only been around for around 200,000 years. That's documented in mainstream science. This is not like Anunnaki science. This is real science. So, and because of that, that means we're the new kids on the block, obviously, because there have been civilizations that existed even prior to Homo sapiens sapien on this same planet, which were our cousins, basically. And then then you also have the Atlanteans that engaged our cousins before the genetic modifications. They didn't create human beings. They only genetically modified us to make us more subservient to them. But that being said, these Atlantean beings had established their civilization, their hierarchy, everything they had to live by. And they had good Atlanteans and you had bad Atlanteans. They had really mastered the combination of spirituality, metaphysics, and quantum physics, along with general sciences. And they had really merged all of it together and mastered it to the level that they can even manifest solid matter into reality with vocalization and thought. They also added a lot of enhancements to their body that they had through technology enhancements that they added to their body that interacted with their consciousness, which made them look like God-like beings or gods. But they actually was just more intelligent, more advanced. Now, when you look into their history and you read about these beings, you discover that there was envy, there was jealousy of one another, there was infighting, there was all these things that you see human beings doing right now today. There was backstabbing, there was theft. All this stuff is etched into stone in Sumerian cuneiform tablets, into the Mahabharata, into the Code of Hammurabi. All these different texts that have been left behind for us to analyze and read. We discover the same exact behaviors that we're operating under right now were going on millennia ago. I'm talking about deep, deep antiquity. So we're copying or mimicking what our ancestors really were doing back then. And it's time to break through that. It's time to break these generational curses and get in our right mind, get our brain heart coherence, be able to check ourselves, and be able to really move forward and change the whole paradigm with the way that we're treating each other. When I see somebody, Brother Rich, if you become very successful, or Ashera, if you become very successful, I need to be cheering you on. I need to become a cheerleader for you. I don't need to be looking at you like clapping in your face, and when you turn your back, be like, how he get that? How she get this money? How come she doing good? This is the kind of foolishness we got to cut this stupidness out. Because what a person doesn't realize is when they become a pocket watcher, their frequency drops. When they become a hater behind the scenes, their frequency drops. And when their frequency drops, they want to excel, they want to succeed. But just like the Atlanteans, I'm going to talk about in my workshop, when the person was doing all the behind the scenes evil stuff and smiling into everybody's face, all of a sudden, all these bad things start happening to them. This is in the history books. Now, this is in the text history on the stone tablets. You look at the law of attraction today and how we operate today. As soon as you turn around, if I start talking about you behind your back, if I start internally hating on you and envying you and pocket watching you, all of a sudden, even though I'm trying to excel in my business and what I'm trying to do, all these little things come start blindsiding me and knocking me off my doggone throne. And I can't figure out how come I'm not getting to where I want to go. I'm working harder and harder and harder. I'm doing all these things and nothing's working out for me. Because you know why? Because I'm pocket watching and I'm hating behind the scenes and my frequency is dropping. And when the law of attraction works all the time, it never stops working. It works on high frequencies, gamma waves, and it also works on low frequencies. So if you got low frequency thoughts going out all the time, the universe is going to send you back low frequency results all the time, nonstop. And especially if you go to bed dreaming about hating on somebody, your whole night, your whole dream turns into a realistic nightmare. Because when you wake up the next day, all kind of stuff is going to be going crazy in your life. Your tires are going to be flat. Your bank account's going to be empty. All kind of stuff. So it's important to always, be excited for people's successes. Be excited for situations with the Anunnaki and the Atlanteans, which are the same people. If you read these texts, like I'm gonna go over them, you'll find that the people that started hating and going behind the back and backstabbing, they always had all this crazy negative things start happening to them, and they couldn't figure out what it was. Everything started collapsing around them, including the collapse of an entire capital, which is the ring city that fell into the Atlantic Ocean.
Elaborate
Why
on
were they
that.
hating?
Yeah, go ahead, Ashera.
What'd you say, Cheryl?
I was asking why were they hating in the first place? If everyone had these manifestation powers, what was there to hate on?
Okay, so that's a great question. That's a really good question. Thank you. So when they got to Earth, Earth became a breakaway civilization for them because they came here to mine this planet for resources, create new kingdoms. In the land of Khem, they called them the Natiru, and the Natiru were the kings that came from space and turned mud into a kingdom. And so initially, everything was great. Everybody was loving each other and friends and giving hugs, and we made it, and we're starting this whole thing. And as time went on, they got their own little regions to rule over. And then greed set in. Well, I want more land. How come how come my cousin got more land and more people to run than I got? How come this relative has more resources on their part of their land? I want some of the resources that they got over here. And I want to do this. So they started getting jealous of each other. And they started doing this little internal war using human beings as like the war machine to go and attack other cities. This is all in the book of Deuteronomy. So if you look in the Bible and you read the book of Deuteronomy, you'll find all these wars that are quote unquote God telling humans to go attack this city. And then the same God, but it's really not the same God because the book of the Bible, the word God is mistranslated. God singular. It's supposed to be God's plural. And they even teach you that when you go to the school to learn about the Bible and ancient texts. So it's actually these gods, plural, these Atlantean people ruling over people in different regions. And so when one gets attacked, they then send more human beings to go attack another city and then another city. And they're literally trying to fight over resources and control of people. Out of jealousy and envy, some people end up having regions with more resources, more people. That's fake wealth or perceived wealth. So they were battling each other. Then also, they were only allowed to rule one at a time over the entire planet. Even though they ruled certain regions, only one person would rule over the planet at a time. And so like Amen-Ra, also known as Marduk in the modern day Bible, and also Marduk, which is really in the Enuma Elish, he wanted to take over his kingship, Pisces, early before Pisces even came in all the way. So he started a war just to take over the planet. So this is all about ego, and it's all about ruling and running over people and resources. And in the end, they realized how stupid they were because they said, two of them actually said, when the creator of all finds out what we did here, we're going to have to pay for this. So even they knew there was a higher power that they would answer to for what they've done here. They turned this thing into the Wild Wild West. It was crazy.
I understand what you're saying. I was decoding it as you were saying it, but didn't who was it? Thomas Jefferson say something similar to that about the United States and slavery and all that? Didn't he say something very similar?
Thomas Jefferson? I didn't hear that quote yet. No, he probably did, but Thomas Jefferson was an interesting character.
He said that America was going to have to pay for what it's done or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
I don't remember the exact quote, but he was saying, well, we're going to have to pay for this in some type of way.
Well, if he said that, he damn sure was right. Yeah, he was sure right because, no good deed goes unknown, but also bad deeds also come back to haunt you. And a lot of the negativity and the way that this empire, this new Roman Empire that we're living under right now was built and set up, unfortunately, there's going to be a little bit of hell to pay for this situation, and certain people are going to pay for this. Generationally, they're going to pay for it, and it's not going to be anything that we in particular do ourselves. It's just going to be the law of attraction operating and karma operating. That's just the way it is. It's nothing we can do about it. Black people are going to have nothing to do with what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. It's just going to be a part of the balancing act of the universe.
Like Thanos.
Like that, exactly.
Like that. Okay, I hear you.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah. So it's gonna happen. There's nothing we can do about it. There'll be a balancing. There'll be a balancing act that will happen. And the universe always puts itself back in balance and in order.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Since we're talking about what's going on now, and we mentioned politics, and obviously politics. Without politics, you cannot mention Donald Trump. If we're going to continue the metaphysical conversation, something that Trump's I think it was his niece. I don't know who. One of his family relatives, either his niece or it had to be his niece. It wasn't his daughter. It had to be his niece. But she said that he suffers from Donald Trump's teacher. I forgot his teacher's name. But he's connected somehow to Neville Goddard with this whole positivity realm, and think positive and this and that. She said that he suffers from, and not just him, but her family suffers from toxic positivity. I never heard this term before. I heard her say that. And she said toxic positivity is that, you always find something positive out of situation. So when you do something wrong and you do somebody wrong, you still think it's positive because you're so caught up in this positivity thing where you do the most heinous, crazy acts and you still find good in what you're doing because you're just caught up in thinking that everything is positive. So y'all talking about this, this information. We all know about the New Age movement. What do you think about the term? Can there be a such thing as toxic positivity?
Well, I believe it can. I don't know if that's the correct term that she used, but I think the term would be abusive power. It's probably the correct term, because when you're doing something to people, that means that you have a certain level of power or frequency that you're imparting towards that group or person. And when it's a low energy frequency that you're imparting towards a group or a person, you're imparting a negative force against them, a dark force. And when you do that and then try to say that it's light, you're literally you're fooling yourself, and you're tricking yourself. I think deep down they know, because even a child knows right from wrong. So deep down they know what it is. They just are trying to fool themselves into believing that they're doing something good, even though they know deep down they're doing something bad and wrong and evil. And that's why I call it poly tricks, because these poly tricksters, man, this whole situation that happened recently with this whole poly trick election and everything else these last few years or the last couple of years, and seeing people in the conscious community go, I can't say, I'm not like Brother Rich. I don't say the words I really want to say sometimes. Let
it out, Billy. Let it out, man.
I gotta maintain my zen. But seeing them go crazy over this trick situation, and I seen conscious people that I had real high level of respect for turn into polytricking, bloodsuckers. They really were chasing after this thing like it was a religion. Yeah. And these people that were so conscious that I thought were at such a high level that I was even trying to ascend to their level that they were on. These people will turn around and stab you over your decision about
yeah.
A Republican or a Democrat. That's how evil these people really turn out to be. I see people that I thought were so spiritual getting on Twitter every day, typing these nasty tweets about politics 24/7. Every tweet is about this whole thing. And I'm going, what kind of disease, what kind of virus is taking over these people's consciousness? Something that's that powerful can take me over and turn me into a political zombie. I don't want nothing to do with it, man. I don't want no parts of it. Yeah. I want zero parts of it, And then these people are, we got to pick the better of the two evils. Why am I going to spend my energy going out to pick the better of two evils? That's ridiculous. That to me makes no sense. Look, like I told you one time before on the show, Brother Rich, I done seen 7 presidents already. That's how old I am, okay? And when I go back to my hood where I grew up in Miami and look at it, it's worse. It's not even better. There's a church on every corner and everybody there votes. And the community has gotten worse. Now there's a 20-foot barbed wire fence around my elementary school. And when I was going to school back in the 70s, the crossing guards used to rob us on the way to school. So if it's worse than that, can you imagine how bad? And no president, no polytricksters, no mayors, no senators, nobody has changed. That city. And guess what? That's just one city out of thousands in the entire country that are getting worse on a daily basis. Meanwhile, we keep sending millions of dollars over to the Middle East every single day. Okay. I'm not even going to say the name of the country. And then, so we send all this money to them every single day, $20, $30 million a day. Meanwhile, people over here got no water, no food. People are sleeping on the streets. And every single day, 20 to 30 veterans that serve this country commit suicide every single day since 2001. There's been close to now almost 300,000 suicides since 2001 in America, and nothing's being done to solve that situational problem. And everybody's chasing after these polytricksters left and right, like they're going to be the savior, like they're this Jesus Christ, itself or himself coming out of the sky, coming on a cloud. And they're worshiping these people just like they used to worship the Atlanteans and the Anunnaki. That's why we need to have this workshop to wake people up. I'm going to show them where all this polytricksters came from. I'm going to show them where the bicameral Congress came from. All this stuff came to us from the Anunnaki and Atlanteans. They installed this exact system and the monetary system with inflation built in 10,000 years ago.
That's important because it seems like the monetary system might be coming to a change right now. Woo, y'all fam, y'all got to log into this workshop. This is very important. I know somebody said that the link wasn't working. Check the link I just posted just now. It should work. Yeah, check the link I just posted just now. It should work. But yeah, this is going to be an important one. How long is this one going to be, Billy?
It's going to be 5 hours.
Excellent, excellent.
5 hours. I'm going deep. I'm going to start off in the Pleiadian star system. I'm going to work my way through the galactic wars that occurred. I'm going to go into the space refugees fleeing to Orion, Aldebaran, Zeta Reticulus, Sirius A, B, and C, talking about the dog star, where the Dogons met the people from. We're going to go into all of the aspects of how they inhabited other planets, how they got here to this planet, why they came to this planet. Some that crash landed on a planet in the Enuma Elish named Nibiru that orbited a brown dwarf star that was gravitationally captured by our yellow sun. What happened with that whole situation, how the Earth came to be, because the Earth wasn't here in the beginning of the creation of this solar system, where our solar system actually originates from. And we're going to talk in depth about the installation of the control system that we're operating under right now, where it came from. How do we get Congress? How do we get the Senate? How do we get the monetary system, the fiat currency? And I'm going to show you evidence of this existing back then on stone tablets, how inflation started and all these things started and how we got to the point where we are right now. This stuff was instilled millennia ago. And then I'm going to use access to space probe data that we all have access to from our tax dollars. And everybody on the workshop is going to take a journey with me live. We're going live to Mars. We're going to go live to Mars, and we're going to look through the eyes of the Curiosity rover, and we're going to zoom in, zoom out, pan left and right, and we're going to look for evidence of ancient civilizations on Mars that are similar to the same temples and building structures that we see left behind here on Earth. And I'm going to bring people live in the workshop up on to be able to talk and speak as to what they see through the Curiosity rover eyes. And we're going to do that live. Nobody's ever done this before.
No. That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all going to be going up to Mars. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get into that in a little while. What I want to ask, the next question I want to ask is directly to our Ashera Star Goddess. I know you deal with symbolism on your channel. How would you describe symbolically what's going on right now? I mean, obviously the parent is, they raided the Capitol and everybody's talking about, oh my God, this is crazy. And if it was Black people, it never would happen. And it reminds people all types of different things. But symbolically, what does everything going on right now? How do you decipher that, my sister?
Okay. Well, it started off with the aneurysm of Dr. Dre.
Okay. Oh, okay. You going there? I didn't know you was going there. Okay. I didn't know you. Okay.
Well, you asked me about the symbolism.
Yes, this is why I love it. Go ahead.
So the Capitol is code for dome, which is code for head.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Dr. Dre, which his real name is Andre Roman Romanium, or I can't remember his name, but the base word is Rome. And then he has an aneurysm, which is a barrier that has been broken in his head. And then you have a capital, which barrier has been broken, and blood or the Republicans or red, have broken the barrier. So it lines up. And then at the same time, he got divorced from his wife, and the same thing happened over here. Trump is getting divorced from the country.
Right.
So people are upset about that. And then we have everything has parallels to it if you look at the symbolisms that go in the same timeline. And so I believe it was basically a play of a repeat of the fall of Rome, because there's a lot of photos online. Someone sent this to me. I guess I can show it to you.
Yeah, please.
On my phone. But they sent this, and it can look orchestrated if you are looking for certain things. And hold on, let's see. So there's a drawing from Rome in 455, I guess, BC. And it has the same, it has the same symbolisms as the Capitol, invasion or raid that we have today. That dude with the horns on his head, and then them taking the podium. And then if you look on this picture, the flag person. So a lot of people think that it's orchestrated and set up because you have too many similarities in those pictures, outfits, and photographs that were taken. So I don't really buy into any of these things. I just simply look for these type of codes and symbols to know what they're actually trying to say. So basically the fall of Rome and the coming in of a new era, and the fall of an old era. So basically the shift.
Do you think, I want to talk about conspiracy theories since it's such an important topic right now, with obviously with Trump being in office and everybody, the mainstream media continuously calling him a conspiracy theorist. Okay, so you have what we call conspiracy theory. A lot of things Billy say, a lot of things I say, a lot of things Ashera would say. That some people will say that we're conspiracy theorists. What I want to say is that with us looking at everything, a lot of things as conspiracy theory, can sometimes, do you think there are cosmic the best word I could come up with is cosmic synchronicity? Like, I'll give you an example. One time I interviewed Billy in front of a hotel. He was in New York. We was about to do a lecture. I interviewed him in front of a hotel, and I forgot there was a number next to him. And people said, see, that number right there, that nigga's a Mason. I told y'all he was a Mason. And in my mind, I'm like, hold up. Oh shit, that number is behind him though. Oh shit. No, it's just, I don't want to say coincidence, but it could be the number 3 or the number 9 or the number 6, and they'll come up with some deep ass explanation. So sometimes it could just be the spirit realm communicating with us, and we look at it as conspiracy theory. So do you think that the situation happened with Trump, is this more spiritual than it is conspiracy and the elites controlling the world? Or do you think this is the elites controlling the world and it has nothing to do with spirituality, or maybe a combination of both? Well, you know what I'm saying? I just want to ask that. Good. Both of you.
I think it's orchestrated, because there was a book that was written over 100 years ago called The Last President, and it reads, the last chapter, I think it's chapter 8, reads exactly how this whole thing went down. So if you have a book that was written over 100 years ago, The dude's name is Barron Trump, and he was the president. He was from New York. You know, he owned hotels. It's the same exact story. I think they're trying to see who's really awake and who's still asleep. You know, by, you know, they have this information out there online, and if you just do the research, you'll find it. But most people won't, because they're probably looking at other things that are more distracting. But if you see certain things, then you know it's not all conspiracy. Now there is some things that line up universally, because if I try to decode my life story, it ends up sounding like it's orchestrated or code as well. But when you purposely put something in place and, you know, put it out there and fulfill those prophecies because you know about it too, I'm sure Trump knows about that book. And, you know, it just be an indicator of, you know, what time it was in the cosmos and when to start to do these quote unquote rituals or public rituals. But I do believe that a lot of things do line up cosmically as well, like things that you don't even try to do on purpose, but it could also be the subconscious mind putting that stuff in place as well. So I think it's both, like you said.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think you're pretty spot on with that. Also, you know, it's pretty interesting how they do this stuff. It's really a lot of, like I said before, usually human beings plan for what we're going to do next weekend. When I get my paycheck on Friday, you see, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But these elite people, they plan for millennia. They'd be like, you know, in 5,000 years, I think we want to see this happening on the planet. In 10,000 years, I think this is what the Atlanteans did. That's why they call themselves the ordainers of destiny. And they would ordain destinies. And so what they would do is they would envision a future path based off of what they're doing right now and what would happen if they didn't make any adjustments or changes. Then what they would do is they would begin to focus on or think about alternative futures based off different decisions that they would make. And then they would pick the suitable future that they thought was good for them, and they would pull it into their reality tunnel by creating ripples in space-time that alter that future reality by making decisions, putting out information, putting different people in positions of power that they knew the future outcome would be the exact one that they wanted to see. And by that method, they would control and manifest their own future destinies. You know, so this is what these elites do. This is how they manipulate, how they control. It's so intricate and so detailed. And one of the famous quotes in the Illuminati Secret Covenant is where it says, the illusion will be so great that it will escape their perception. This matrix is, yes, you know, they got it so, it's so vast and it's so broad and so intricately designed and connected and interconnected that the average person cannot even detect that it's happening. And and because of that, they have really perfected their system. And what's happening now is a lot of people like us, we're utilizing the tools of darkness, YouTube, the internet, you know, Instagram, Facebook, and all these other social media outlets, mobile apps. We're using this technology, smartphones, instead of continuing to keep us programmed and dumbed down. We're helping to recode people through these exact same instruments of doom. We're using them as instruments of light. We've broken the code and we're breaking the code on a consistent basis. And so that's something they didn't anticipate. So the harder that we come at them, the harder they try to come at us. You know, algorithms and all these other crazy things they got going on now. But the thing about light is it's so powerful that, you know, you can, if you take a room full of light, you can't introduce any darkness into the room that will make the light run away. But if you take a room and make it completely dark and turn on the tiniest little bit of light, darkness flees. You understand? So light is 10,000 times more powerful than darkness. And because of that, even though we only take over a very small percentage of this program mainstream media matrix that they built with our consciousness, we're so powerful and we're so incredible that we're forcing them to change all their systems around, all their algorithms around how they operate on a daily basis. This is why Facebook updates every day. Instagram updates their program every single day. All these services, they keep programming and recoding and recoding. They're trying to beat our light consciousness, but they can't.
I was thinking about that too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good. You're good.
It's like you can trick it.
Yes, you can.
Because I saw what you did on one of your videos, and you put, I kind of caught it because I don't think anyone else did. You put some background music in your video, so that you could get paid for it.
Exactly. Got to trick them.
And since it's like, hip hop or rap, the algorithm of that video will be put maybe in, a musical algorithm, people looking for hip hop or whatever. But instead they get like a lesson on, ancient history and all that kind of stuff.
That's exactly what I did.
I know, I caught it. But see, a lot of people don't get what I do either. But if you put yourself in a certain category, if you do a certain thing and then you hit them with a different message, then that's the trick, because they can't predict you. They just assume. They can't predict you. They don't understand what, I don't think they've gotten there yet. So that's the best way to trick people, is to make last minute quick decisions or have an agenda already of what you're going to do.
Exactly. Listen, you hit it on the head. What a lot of people don't realize is how I manipulate this system for my own benefit and for consciousness. So you see me, I'm rolling around in a Rolls Royce, right? But I'm playing conscious music on my phone. And so the algorithm is picking up the Rolls Royce because it wants materialism. It wants to push materialism. I'm going to give you the materialism, but at the same time, you're going to get a conscious lesson with this materialism, right? And so I do things like that. I throw my music behind viral content that's conscious. I know it's going to go viral because if something goes viral, I learned this from P. Diddy. If something is viral once, or like, for example, he took platinum albums. If something was a platinum R&B album, it's always going to be a platinum R&B album. So what he did was he said, I'm going to go after all these platinum hits and I'm going to turn them into rap hits. So he went after every hit that was platinum or gold, and he turned it into a rap hit, knowing it was going to go viral and sell instantly. There was no thinking about whether it was going to sell. It was automatic. I don't care what the lyrics said, because that music was in the background, that frequency was there, and it was a hit once, hit again. I took the same lesson from Diddy, and I started looking for viral content online. Initially, that's how I built Forbidden. And I took those conscious clips, video clips that were showing things going on that I knew would go viral because they went viral before, and put my music in the background. So now you got my music in the background. That's my own music. And then also it's got conscious lyrics. It's got, a lot of it has trap beats that the system is tricking and thinking it's this hip hop trap music with conscious lyrics on top. And then I got the viral video all pancaked together, and then boom, it explodes. 300 views, 400,000 views, 100,000 views, wherever, 1 million views, some of these videos. So that's how I pimp the system. And it's all about the algorithms and how you have to trick their AI, you have to trick their system and continue to put out the light. So you got to play their game a little bit. People, why are you driving around in a Mercedes-Benz and talking to them? Because I'm fooling the system, that's why. The reason why Thoth has that long beak is not because he looked like a bird. It's an archetype. He looks like the ibis bird. It's the ibis beak. And why? Because the ibis bird doesn't put his beak deep into the mud to bring up sustenance. So it's saying you have to go to darkness to bring darkness to light. And every great teacher that I've researched, and I've researched a lot of teachers and sages, and I've sat with indigenous elders, I've sat with Aboriginal elders and people and teachers and from all around the world. And they all have the same thing in common. They all go to the darkness. They go to where there's drug addicts, and they go to where there's alcoholics, and they go to where there's street people. They don't hang around the people that they're saying, you're not going to see me. Of course, I'm going to be around people that's close to the same conscious level I'm at, and we can have great conversations. But I can't stay there 24/7 because there's more people that I got to help. And the only way to get to those people, I got to get to them at where they are, at their level. I'm going to show them something they like. Oh, you like to see a nice house? You like to see a nice car? I'm going to show you that. And then while you're looking at it and getting all immersed in it, oh, wow, look at this. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit you over the head with some conscious lyrics. I'm going to hit you over the head with some information. I'm going to hit you over the head with 432 hertz or 528 hertz. And next thing you know, I got you. I done cast my reel out. Now I'm reeling you in. You don't even know it. I'm using the same techniques as the Atlanteans for the power of light and consciousness that the mainstream media is using to keep us programmed and dumbed down. But I'm doing it in a flip way.
It's powerful. That's powerful, brother. And I see why you're so successful doing what you do. That's powerful. And I respect it. And I tell you off the the lines. I tell you I respect that. But what about let's say you hold on, how can I say this? Let's say you don't know anything about what we're talking about. And let's say you want to maintain the consciousness that's going on right now. Let's say you're comfortable in that. Do you think there's anything wrong with somebody who may not be privy to the information that you're privy to, but what they do know is what they do know, and they want to maintain that because that's all that they do know? Do you feel as though they're a problem? Because we're talking about good and evil, and what's good to you and her may not be good to a regular Christian church-going person. And they may feel like y'all the devil because y'all want to end what they do. So do you feel as though a person living the everyday Christian life is a problem? Let's say, I don't believe in the Atlanteans or Toph or Tahuti or magic. All I believe in is Jesus. And my problem in your world, in the new world, that's the new paradigm that's being formed, just because I just believe in Jesus?
I don't think that they're a problem. What I think is that they are most likely a newborn in this third dimensional realm. In other words, this could be their first or second time here. I find that people that are wrapped up in religion and politics are not ancient souls. That's just what I find. Those are new souls.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I see them as children. So I don't, whereas a Christian person will get mad at me for talking about the Anunnaki or talking about my version of what I understand about ancient civilizations because of my research and being there in these locations in person versus what they read in one book that was fabricated by a human being, they'll get so angry they'll want to actually even attack me in certain cases.
Okay.
So when I see that, that's like a child's temper tantrum. How come I'm not trying to attack you? I'm trying to have an intelligent conversation, but you would like to attack me. If I told you I don't like Trump or I don't like Biden, you'll want to physically put your hands on me, right? So that's another form of a temper tantrum. That's a sign of somebody being a newborn into this third dimension. One thing you got to understand, there's people that are here right now that may look like they're 30, 40, 50, 70, 80. They could be newborn babies. And there's people here that could be 20, 25, 30, 15, 10, 5 years old that are ancient, super ancient. So you can't judge a person by the age, the biological age in this particular era. You have to, don't judge them at all, but you have to understand that there are people here that are super ancient and there are people that have just arrived into this realm and going to come back a few more times until they get it right.
I believe that.
And I definitely believe that, we are way more ancient than our age. But what do you think about people that, there may be an individual's older gentleman who's 49, 50, and he wants to date a female who's 17. And he says she's older. He may tell everybody, listen, she's more mature than her age. That's why I love her. And to everybody else, we're like, yo, you fucking pervert, nigga. You get the fuck out of here. You child molesting motherfucker. You need to lock your ass up. But he's like, hey, she's not the age that she's more mature. What do you say to somebody like that? Because we understand the metaphysics of what's going on, but we understand the weirdos that's out here. So how do we address that type of situation?
Obviously there still has to be some type of understanding of, well, we're in this third dimensional avatar body. We have to abide by these biological laws. And also what I like to say, just, there's just a law of understanding right from wrong. Yes, somebody can be ancient and be 15, but that doesn't mean you should have sex with their biological body that's a 15-year-old and you're 30 something or 40 years old or whatever. I think that obviously that person is just somebody looking to manipulate somebody, control somebody, and it's a form of pedophilia and everything else. I think that people just need to understand that there's people here that are ancient, with their spirit is ancient, their energy is ancient, but not the physical body.
Okay.
The physical body is just recycled over and over again. So there still are laws that you got to abide by, conscious laws of right from wrong, and also obviously the laws of the land as well, that tell you, this is something that you shouldn't be doing. So if somebody's trying to manipulate what I'm saying about people being ancient for that purpose, then they need to be locked up. Yeah, man.
No, definitely. Ashera, you want to add on to that, or should I move on?
I know in some parts of the world they do that, and it's pretty sad. And there's so many books written about child marriage and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's right. They don't even use that as an excuse, but I think people know better, and they're just trying to find some type of way around whatever they're trying to get done.
Indeed. We talk a lot about organs and chakras. I want to talk to you real quick. I want to talk to you all about the heart. We talk a lot about the brain. I want to talk about the heart. There's been numerous reports of people when they get a heart transplant, they begin to have memories, or they begin to take upon the characteristics of the person's heart that they took on. So what is it about the heart that we may know or may not know that makes people that I could like oranges, but I need a heart transplant? Then all of a sudden I hate oranges and I love pink apples and I love this and I love things that I never ever loved before, all because I got a heart transplant. Do I still have the same soul? Am I still the same entity? Did this entity take over my avatar? Like, talk to me. What happens when you get a heart transplant? Is that science or is that complete mayhem?
That's real science. So basically, in a heart transplant, what's happening is the human heart now, and this is again mainstream. They teach this at the university. I learned this when I was at MIT for neuroscience. The human heart is the second brain, and it actually transmits information to the brain, and the brain transmits information back to the heart. The heart has a certain level of control over your actions and reactions as well in the third dimensional realm. So the heart can make decisions that you act on. Now, when you get a heart transplant from somebody else and you put it into your body, remember that heart has its own brain and its own memories inside of it, and it transmits different frequencies to your other organs as well as your brain. So it's not that your spirit's been hijacked. It's not that you are a symbiont of somebody else's spirit or anything like that. What's happening is people have to always remember that the human body is a programmable avatar robot. It's a biological robot that is susceptible, 100% susceptible to programming code. So the new heart gets installed into the body, and that new heart then begins to inject its code or upload its code into your avatar. And so the coding that it already had in it from the other person is now taking over and overriding some of your current programming, and then you're acting on it because the human body is literally a biological robot. So it's not that you've been hijacked or your soul's been taken away. It's just programming has been added and overwritten inside of your current avatar body.
Damn, man. Billy, man, that make me feel bad in a sense. I'm just a motherfucking robot.
Well, I mean, the body part.
Billy, I'm just a fucking, come on, man.
It's so easy. Listen, let me tell you how easy it is to fool a human being, right? You put on virtual reality goggles If you put everybody in a room on the VR goggles and put on a roller coaster ride or put on something that had a lot of action, and you'll see people reacting and jumping and dodging, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because we're so easily fooled by this hologram. Our sensory perception, it can be easily fooled. This is why the program, the 2045 program that I talk about in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, the 2045 program is real. This is in Russia. Thoth talked about it in the land of Kim, where he would transfer his consciousness from one avatar body to the next, so he could walk amongst men, but unlike a man, right? And so 2045 project in Russia, they discovered that you can transfer the consciousness of an animal into a computer. And then by 2010, their goal was to transfer a human consciousness into a robot, which they already have done. And America did it too, Boston Dynamics with the Avatar project. And then you have, by 2045, their goal is to clone you using one of your own stem cells to any age that you want, and then transfer your current consciousness into the new avatar body. This is science that we're already doing. The monkey that they transferred into the computer, it thought it was still alive, even though its body was physically dead. It was eating bananas, climbing trees, running around in the computer. It thought it was still alive. So the way our avatars are set up, it's set up to receive programming code and believe the hologram that we're taking, the data we're taking in from the hologram unequivocally. It really truly believes it's real. So you can feed our avatar body in. This is why they know this. That's why they call it TV programming. They understand that. So they send out these codes 24/7. That's why they send out subliminal messages in movies. While the movie is playing, there are microseconds that pause in between the movie, and subliminal messages are being sent out to you to go buy popcorn, go buy another Coca-Cola, go out, go get a piece of candy, and all this kind of stuff. So they do these subliminal messages because they know it's all about programming and coding, and everything that comes in through your eyes and your sensory perceptions is recorded permanently in the brain, even though you may not think you're perceiving them. It's happening. So they know how to reprogram you. They know how to recode you. And that's why they play music on the radio. They'll push music from artists that is destructive to your consciousness and to your own DNA. And they'll put millions of dollars behind it to make that the hit. This is on Billboard. A lot of these songs are straight trash garbage. Even the artists themselves know it's garbage.
Right.
But they're getting paid. And for the mainstream people who are behind the scenes, people are getting reprogrammed. And that's what they want.
Indeed.
I had a question. Like, I don't know if this is true. That's why I wanted to ask. I heard that I don't know if they can clone people that have the Rh negative blood type. Is that true, or is that just a rumor on the internet?
That's a good question. I haven't heard of any science or research. I live in these research papers. I literally live in them. But so far to date, I haven't heard of one person or one attempt. Now, it could be that doesn't mean this hasn't happened. Could be black budget projects going on. But I haven't heard of any Rh negative attempts to do cloning on any blood type, or even creating stem cells from an Rh negative blood type. I haven't even heard of that. And I'm interested in Rh negative all the time because I am Rh negative. So I even have to go to my local plasma bank over in Davie, Florida, and I have to donate blood to myself in case something happens to me. I get in a car accident or whatever, and I need blood. My blood, only 15% of the people in the world have my blood type. So I donate blood there, and I have to keep doing it because blood only lasts for so long. So I have to keep going back and going back. So I have a little bit of blood available in case something does happen to me while I'm in this area, kind of in the vicinity where I live. They can go get my blood and bring it and transfuse my own blood back into my body. So I'm always researching Rh negative blood because it's very interesting. Like AIDS doesn't bind to Rh negative blood, and it has a lot of other weird things about it that, but also has some bad things too, in terms of like a lot of Rh negative blood type people are immune to Novocaine. Some are immune to anesthesia, so there's a lot of little things like that can happen too. But overall, I haven't found any research yet of any attempted stem cells on Rh negative or even cloning yet. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. behind closed doors. I just haven't seen any yet, but it would be interesting to see that.
Sometimes they use different words to describe Rh negative blood so that you can't search it. So I think the search method, if you're looking online, you have to, because you know they trick the algorithm like you do.
Yeah.
So you have to think, how else could they say this besides saying Rh negative blood? Because I found a few things by typing in or describing Rh negative blood versus just typing in Rh negative blood.
Interesting.
Try that, because I didn't do too much extensive research, but I know they hide a lot of stuff like that. And if you can find it, it's probably there.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll definitely try a couple different versions. Or maybe I'll go O negative and things like that. You know, and see if I can pull up some additional information. That's actually a good suggestion. You know, so but yeah, it's really interesting. I'll definitely check into it. I know in my heart, I do believe that they behind some of these closed doors and these black budget projects, they've already cloned people. They can take a skin cell now from a human being. This is something they were doing all the way back in ancient times. The Atlanteans were already doing this. So they would take a cell from a person's body and turn it into a new man. And now in modern times, they can take a skin cell off of your body and they put it in the right laboratory condition and they convert the skin cell into a stem cell from your own skin. Now that stem cell is yours. It's from your body, not from an embryo or something like that, because that's how they first started doing stem cells, from embryos, right? So now they got a stem cell, and now they can replicate the stem cell through mitosis and get it to grow into multiple cells. And then they could take a group of stem cells, once they get enough of them, and inject them back into your own body. Now, a doctor did this. This guy was a doctor for 15 years, and he was issuing, he's just a family doctor. He was issuing this one pharmaceutical. I forget the name of the pharmaceutical now, for people that kept coming in with the flu. Now, this pharmaceutical had a side effect. It's all forbidden knowledge. I forgot the exact name of this medicine, but he had never taken it himself. There's a side effect to this that causes paralysis. Now, over all those years, nobody ever got paralyzed. He issued it out probably thousands of times. He got sick and he gave it to himself. He prescribed it for himself. He was running on his treadmill. This was on the news. He became paralyzed from this pharmaceutical. There's no cure for this paralysis, by the way, right? It was from the waist down. He then spends his own money, which ends up being tens of thousands of dollars, on stem cells. And he got this private company to do a stem cell injection of his own stem cells into his spine. And that gentleman is walking around right now today because the stem cells went back in. You know, a stem cell can become any cell in the body. So they went into his spine and they regenerated his nerve cells in his spinal cord. So stem cells, now they've done it for like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, ligament injuries. NBA players get stem cell injections all the time now. NFL players get stem cell injections all the time. It's actually becoming a part of everyday mainstream medical attention. So what's going to happen here in the future, if we can live another 25 years, all of us on this video right now, maybe 30 years max, we should be able to extend our lives to 170, 180 years old, maybe almost 200 years old. Wow. Because of stem cells and telomere research. Those two things are huge. But if we're not conscious enough to make sure that this planet is being run the right way, they will sell us time. That's the next big sales pitch. They're gonna sell you some time. That's all we got to take back control of our planet.
Hey, listen, Billy, you got this workshop coming up. I am thankful. I will be in attendance, family. I will definitely be in attendance to this workshop. I feel as though, like I said in the beginning of the program, the more I could imagine, the better. And the people that make me imagine, maybe the movie X-Men might make me utilize my imagination. So maybe I have to see the movie X-Men. But right now, the things you are presenting to our community, to our people, Billy, we're not getting that a lot. So I will be there, and I appreciate it, what you're doing. And I shared the link. The link will be in the description, family. I want to ask you about this question. I got this book called Let me show this. Conversations with My Higher Self. I talked about this book the other day. So this is by Kenneth J. M. McLean. So I want to read just a little something from the book. I want to ask you about it. I ask you and Ashera about it. This is from the book. Part of the requirements for incarnation is a limiting of perception. We refer to this as focusing, as a magnifying glass concentrating the light into a point. While in physical, you perceive from a very tiny, intensely focused point of consciousness, you give up a broader awareness and knowledge of all that is. And in return, you have the opportunity to experience the joy of rediscovery as you remember your connection to Source. This is supposed to be a joyful unfolding, but many of you have made it traumatic. This is all right. When you make your transition back to native state, you come back to your natural place of complete bliss and understanding of self. Do you think with that being said, is this a case of, oh my God, I hate this shit while I'm here, but when I go back to my native state, I'm like, I want to go back there to experience an intense feeling. But once you go back here, once you forget who you are, that's when you hate it. But once you, so Ashera, once you remember who you are, you don't hate it down here no more. You love it because you remember who you are. So is it a case of just remembering, or is it a case of actually being down here? That's hell. Which one is it?
I'll let you go first. Yes, please go ahead.
It's like the journey, not the destination.
Okay.
I think that's why, the Michael Jackson video, Remember the Time. Like he could have made a video just dancing on the street and it still would have been popular, but he took it way back to the ancient, ancient Kemet days, because I think people like to feel that they know themselves and their past, present, and future all kind of sync up at the same time. I believe that once you come to that realization where you know who you are now, you may know who you were then, maybe your higher self, but at the same time, you're still on that journey and you like the discovery. And it's not, you're not in a rush to get somewhere, because as soon as you get there, what does that mean? Death? So I think we should just enjoy it and not take it so seriously.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. Yeah. I always go back to ancient texts. So when I go back to the ancient text, you find that the Atlanteans were looking down on this world, and particularly it was Thoth and Enki. Enki is Thoth's father, actually. And they decided to take on human bodies, which are, these avatar bodies, and walk amongst men unlike men. And, it's just really interesting how they decided to come down and experience this realm, or this life from a perspective of a human being, is what they were trying to achieve, really, when they did it. And I really do believe that Yeshua is one of these manifestations of either Thoth or Enki coming through the womb, reprogramming themselves to come through the womb through an IVF, come through the womb and experience even being born through a womb and then growing up as a human being, to see what it's like from our perspective. That's how come he regained full memory at a certain age of who he really truly was. And so, but when you look at a lot of these ancient texts, you have this account of these beings falling from heaven to earth to assume and take on this physical form to experience life subjectively in the third dimension as a human being. And then they were collecting data. They were on a data collection mission, collecting data of this life and this reality. And there, even though it's a small, tiny, focused beam, like you were talking about from the brother's book, because of the the sun getting focused through the magnifying glass, this focused beam can be bliss. You can literally live in a heaven here and with the right mindset, with the right attitude, with the right way of thinking and living and inhabiting, and you can bring heaven to earth, and you can enjoy the bliss of experiencing this limited time frame that we're in here. And I think the fact that there is death of the avatar body in this realm, it makes us want to stop and smell the roses and actually enjoy and appreciate the beauty that is here, because there is a lot of beauty here. You can find beauty here virtually almost everywhere and almost in every situation. And so when people get caught up with a lot of distractions and the issues and a lot of negative thinking, and because they're thinking negative all the time and worrying and focusing on problems and issues, they miss the roses. They don't see the roses. And because of that, they go through their entire life never getting to smell the roses, never getting to enjoy the heaven that is here on this earth until they recycle and come back and maybe learn it the next time. But, you know, so a lot of these ancient texts talk about the fact that gods come down to experience this realm. And when they experience a realm from the perspective of a human, they find that it's so incredible and so beautiful and so insatiable that a lot of the time they don't want to leave. And this has been also, it's also made it into movies and things like that, like Meet Joe Black, where I forget, not Tom Cruise, what's the other gentleman's name that's an actor? I forgot the guy's name now. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is he's the guy that comes and takes you away when you die. He takes your soul to wherever it's going to go, to the next place. He decides to take on a human body from a gentleman that had just died so he can experience the third dimension as a person, because he had always interacted with people, but he was a multidimensional being. He never got a chance to be in a physical domain. He ended up falling in love with a woman, experiencing what love was like, experiencing the bliss of just eating peanut butter. And it was such an incredible experience to be a human being in this third dimension on this planet. At some point, the reality set in that he had to leave and go back to his dimension, and he didn't want to leave. It's actually my favorite movie of all time, Meet Joe Black. He didn't want to leave because it was too beautiful here. So even though we're experiencing this one tiny little pinprick of focused energy, there's a lot going on and a lot to experience and a lot to take in and a lot to learn, so that when we do get back to our fullness, we bring that information and that experiences back with us to the fullness. So it's a great question that you proposed, man. And, you know, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to experiencing every aspect of this dimension and every other dimension that I can ascend to as well.
I've never seen that movie. I guess I have to watch it now.
Oh, you got to watch Meet Joe Black. It's a classic. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Anthony Hopkins, who's my favorite actor of all time. Some people may not like that, but I think he's one of the greatest geniuses that exist. And I just love the way he acts. I love how he gets into his roles, and I love his dialogue. And Brad Pitt, great movie, and it'll leave you with a lot of emotions at the end, having you really beginning to try to appreciate your life. It really will. That's why I like it.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
I'm definitely gonna watch it now that because you said that. I definitely gotta watch it. So I'm glad you said that. I got a couple of more questions, just two more, probably about two more questions. I know it's getting late. We've been on here for a while. We got a packed room. We got over 1,800 people in the room. I know you'll enjoy, and it's late. It's late. We got over 1,800 people. This is unannounced. We just surprised y'all. You know, that's how I like to do. It's a weekday, but no, it's not a weekday. It's Saturday. You see this, I don't even know what day it is no more.
I never know what day it is.
It's Saturday. Oh shit, my fault, family. I thought it was a weekday. I don't know. But listen, what I want to ask you about two more questions. Did Jesus, who we call Jesus, or the story of Jesus, or whatever we want to say happened during that time, does that contradict what we are being taught in the New Age movement? In the New Age movement, we're taught that like attract likes, birds of a feather flock together, your vibe attracts your tribe. If you be around 4 millionaires. You're guaranteed to be the fifth one. If you're around 4 broke niggas, you're gonna be that fifth broke nigga. But Jesus was around prostitutes, whores. Jesus was around motherfuckers that, and pardon the language, family. I'm using this language to make a point. So don't get caught up in the language. I'm trying to make a point. But Jesus was around people that the average positive people, law of attraction people, wouldn't be around. So did he contradict what we're being taught today within the law of attraction for a better word community?
Not really. If you look at the story about what happened there, and keep in mind always that any words that he's speaking, any verses of Jesus speaking in the New Testament, all come from the Emerald Tablets.
Okay.
Which are 36,000 years old. So I put those verses side by side to the Emerald Tablets verses.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the story of what he did, he was always surrounded by his disciples, which were his tribe and everything else.
Okay.
But he took little offshoots to go down and reel in some new people by going down into the darkness. But you know, the only way to bring new people to light is you got to go into the darkness to bring them to light. And so, you know, that's part of the mission. It's part of the cause. And so him and his disciples would all go together to these places of darkness, what we call darkness, lower level thinking people, and then drop some knowledge bombs on them, hang out with them, make them feel comfortable, and then drop some knowledge on them and walk away and go to the next city and leave them thinking like, damn, you know what? That's some interesting stuff he just said. You know, and that plants a seed, and then seeds grow, and then you have plants and trees and everything else much later on. Don't happen instantly in a lot of cases, right? So that's really what it was about. It wasn't that he was violating the laws of attraction and all this kind of stuff. Is that, and I know, and I do it too. We say it's a new age way of thinking, but in true reality, it's the ancient age of thinking.
Okay.
New age is actually the modern religion, like Christianity. The Muslims and all these people, that's all new age. All that stuff is new religion that just came here within the last couple thousand years. And the aspects that we teach and we've been talking about through the ancient Egyptian mysteries and the Kemetic principles and all these things, that's really super ancient stuff. And the law of attraction is super ancient. You know, all this metaphysical stuff is deep, deep antiquity. Tens of thousands of years ago, it was already being taught and well known and being used. So we're actually tapping into ancient information and not new age information. But, you know, so that's my take on it, man. I think that they were just finding ways to go get new people to bring to the squad. And the only way to do that is to go into darkness and bring darkness to light. It wasn't they were hanging around them permanently and that was their new crew. It was they would dabble, they would stick their toe in the water, so to speak, and then, you know, get a few new people to come on board.
I have a whole diagram for you.
Okay.
I got my whiteboard. I'd have broke it down. So, like, if you're going to decode, like, Mary and Jesus, this is how I would do it. So, Mar, C, cosmos, and then the Y, Venus, and then the tail, plasma. So it's the ionosphere, which is like the ocean. So Jesus, if you look at it, and you know, they didn't have the J back then in the Hebrew language. So you have Je suis, which is French for I am, and then Christ, which is Christos, which means anointed. Anointed represented anointed with oil or olive oil, which was code for melanin or eumelanin. So like the Christ consciousness, the oil in your lamp, which is your, you know, your pineal gland. So this is the cross up here in the ionosphere. And when you cross right here, this is where the whole part comes in, or the prostitute part. You got to give some to get some.
Okay. Talk to me, sister. Talk to me. No, keep showing that. I need to see that again. Oh man.
And so like when the crossover takes some of your plasma away from you, which would represent, you know, some of your frequency, and then when you come back in, you got to borrow some from this person. So that's why that's the story of Jesus to me. This was Mary sitting up here and he saved her from people stoning her, which was casting stones or casting their energy towards her. And so he saved her, and because they were alike.
Wow.
Nice.
If my descendants 2,000 years from now came up with a diagram like that, I would be like, motherfucker, go ahead. That's what I'm talking about.
That's how I think in my head, and I just have to.
Yeah, no, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. So I'm like, wow, I'm glad that you're on here sharing that with the family, and that makes me even more excited to sign up for this workshop. It's like, wow, like if they like, imagine if a civilization where 1 million people thought like this queen, thought like Billy Carson. Wow, where would we be then? So I want to study them. I want to study the rich folks to be rich. So you got a workshop, Billy Carson, you talking about the Atlantean Empire. I want to study them to tap into that type of technology. You know what I'm saying? So it's common sense. So I just love, like I said, I just love this information. If you're looking at this channel and what I represent, you see what I represent. You know what I'm saying? Like this type of information, this is just priceless to me. I want to take one question. I'm gonna take one question. We're about to get out of here, family. It's late. We've been on here for a while. We are extremely grateful for all of y'all for tuning in. Almost 2,000 people being in with us at 1 a.m. On a Saturday night. Y'all could be doing anything. Y'all be partying, doing whatever y'all do, but y'all here with us. I appreciate it. I'm gonna take one question from the family, and then we're gonna get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, to the family in the chat room, give me a question. I'll pick a question, and then Brother Rich, Ashera, Billy Carson, we gotta get out of here. Let me see what's going on. I see King Simon in the chat. Shout out to King Simon.
Simon, shout out to King Simon.
We're gonna get right to it. How do you expand the pineal gland? That's our question before we get out of here. Somebody asked, I don't know their name. Let me say the name because they might get mad. Low Fade 23, something like that. It's a weird name. But Low Fade 23, how do you expand your pineal gland 2021? Last question before we get out of here, y'all.
I'll tell you, the first thing is, well, there's actually a few things, obviously, but the first thing that I would focus on is meditation. This is why I started my meditation Mondays, which I do for free every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want the link, just text me 954-245-0086 and text #meditation, and you'll automatically get the link text right back to you. You can come on there. Meditation is key for expanding the pineal gland, getting into the meditative state, and allowing the cosmic energy to fill you up, and allowing the natural ability of your avatar body to reconnect with the divine in that manner, in that way, gives you the ability to see and discern more information than the average person. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is your diet. How do you take care of your avatar body? Because you got to remember something important. The pineal gland is part of the physical avatar body, part of this physical world. Even though it's your spiritual antenna, it has a connection, a root connection to the physical realm. So you need to take care of everything that keeps that pineal gland strong and powerful, which is what you put into your mouth. If you can control what you eat, you can control anything in your life. Okay, and I do experiments with this. I walk into places, in restaurants and places that have some of the most incredible foods and things that I'm not supposed to eat, and I order only a specific thing that I know is in my body for control purposes, to exercise my control over this domain and over my decision ability, making my own decisions. Control what you put into your body. I'm not saying you got to become a vegan or anything like that. What I'm telling you is find a clean, healthy style of eating, and reduce the amount of junk, sodas, candy, garbage, all these other things that we call soul food that's not really healthy for the body. Put energy food, high energy foods into your body, and exercise. If you don't exercise, I don't even care if you can't, maybe your legs, you got bad knees. It doesn't matter. Sit in the chair and get some, if you don't have money for weights, go get 2 jugs and put water in them. Do a little some exercise. You got to get your heart flowing. You got to get your cardiovascular system flowing, because you got to get blood and everything else flowing into the brain. Okay, you got to get, the brain needs to be fed nutrients, and it needs good blood flow. And where's the pineal gland located? Deep inside the brain. Okay, so meditation, eating properly, exercise, those 3 things are key components to expanding. And then, of course, the most important thing at the end is research and investigation, self-help books, books about knowledge of self, books about ancient history and understanding the ancient past, in my opinion, is a great inner reflection of who we truly are as people. All that kind of stuff, researching and investigation, combined with that, and I think you'll find yourself within a short period of time becoming the student that becomes the teacher. And when the teacher is ready, the master will appear.
Indeed. Excellent. Look forward to the workshop. Ashera, you want to share something with us before we get out of here?
About the pineal gland? Well, I believe sleeping and dreaming and the time between, when you awake and when you're asleep, a lot of times, your brain is flooded with certain chemicals where you can kind of get some information from maybe a higher, dimension or higher realm. I do believe that paying attention at that time is crucial, because there's a lot of messages that come through, or a lot of things that you could download at that time, I guess, between awakened state and sleep state. I don't know if that has anything to do with the pineal gland, but I'm sure it does. I like to write down or remember the things that I'm getting when I'm first waking up in the morning. And then I go and research and study them later or decode them later. And it usually leads me on a long trail of research where I discover something that's actually happening in the current, everyday life that is very relevant to something. So I take it as, picking up on, I guess it could be the Akashic records or whatever, but it always ends up being relevant. So I like to go and do that research. And to me, that expands my consciousness.
Excellent. Please leave your contact information, everybody, before we get out of here. Ashera and Billy Carson, leave your contact info so the people who want to contact you could get in touch with you.
Yeah. You can catch me on Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, forbiddenknowledge.com, of course. And the event is on Eventbrite. So if you go to eventbrite.com and just type in Billy Carson, the event's going to pop right up.
Okay.
I don't really have a link or anything, but if you click the link in this show that Brother Rich has left, it will take you directly to the Eventbrite. It's in the chat. I put it in the chat a few times as well. We definitely would love to have you at this workshop, because this workshop, it's going to be revolutionary. Nobody's ever taken you to another planet.
To Mars.
Yeah, we are literally going to Mars. And you're going to.
How are you doing this, Billy Carson? How are you doing this, if I may ask? Because it sounds like you're just saying shit, man. How are you taking us to Mars, brother?
We're going to log into Worldwide Telescope together, and we're going to access the Mars Curiosity rover data feed. We're also going to access some of the Mars Curiosity rover gigapans feeds, and we're going to log into them, and we're going to be able to access and see what's on the surface. We're actually going to be able to zoom in, zoom out, pan left and right. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's like when you go to Google Maps and then you go to road view and you go up or down the streets and everything else.
Just like that, but on Mars.
Right.
Oh shit.
And we're going to turn around and we can actually do.
Oh shit.
We can see what's there.
Oh shit.
We're going to see things that are going to
Google Mars instead of Google Earth, Google Mars. Oh shit.
Right. That's where I'm taking you. And yeah.
Man, you always come up with something new. Yo, brother, listen, this is something the community had. Yo, family, man, if y'all don't get up on this, man, listen. Wow, this is new. This is different. I can't front. This is as different as I have heard before, brother. So yeah, kudos to you. I can't wait to do this. Like I said, my imagination is the is the main player in this realm that we call the Age of Aquarius. Like that's the main. So when you do something like this, I know you tapped into that frequency, brother. So I can't wait. What day is it again? January what?
January the 31st. I believe it's a Sunday from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
I'll be there in the comments.
Oh yeah.
Ashera gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. There's gonna be a host of people there. Billy, man, we gonna see Billy. Yo, I'm speechless.
So listen, I'm gonna bring you and Ashera live onto the event to have you describe what you're looking at, what you think you're seeing on the surface of Mars.
I'm gonna be there. Listen, I'm gonna tell the family. Listen, I seen this on Mars, or I seen that on Mars. I'm gonna be there. So it's gonna be dope. I'm excited to be a part of something like this. Like I'm a part of a mission to Mars, a virtue mission to Mars. So I'm excited. Listen, I want to thank y'all for leaving your contact information. We got a bunch of people.
Ashera's got to leave her information real quick.
Oh, good.
Well, my YouTube channel, of course. I also own a spiritual store. It's called Dark Realm Online Occult Shop. If you like, crystals and statues, herbs, and things like that. It has over like 4,000 products. So if y'all like to shop online, I have that store, and it's just Dark Realm Online Occult Shop.com. I also have an Etsy store where I sell my elixirs as well, and I have videos on that on my channel. And all the links are on my About section in my YouTube channel. So that way you can just go and click. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Keep up the good work, my sister. I watch your YouTube channel, and I definitely love the videos you upload. So yeah, just know that people are watching, and we appreciate everything that you do. I just wanted to let you know that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Indeed. Billy, did you leave your contact information, my brother?
Yeah. ForbiddenKnowledge.com. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Unite the 99, which is my own social media app, Unite the 99. We're growing very fast right now. A lot of people on here from your channel are on Unite the 99. So I appreciate every single one of y'all. And they're all posting great information, great content. So thank you so much. The goal there is to obviously get well over 1 million people running through that social media. There's no algorithm over there. So if you get the Unite the 99, UNITETHE, Unite the 99 on your app store, it's a free app, doesn't cost you any money. And it has a combination of Instagram and Facebook type functions on there. And I'm going to be starting selecting more people to be verified accounts on there as well. Only verified accounts can go live for right now until I make sure everybody's following the rules and everything's going proper. But so far, it's been great.
Indeed. Yeah, family. So, hey, I made it happen, family. This was a magnificent show. Today is January. It was the 15th going into the 16th. I mean, this was an amazing show, family. If your spirit is talking to you and you want to answer solutions, you probably tuned in tonight. And the reason why you tuned in tonight is because you want to know something. And I'm sure Billy or Ashera Goddess told you something that you was curious about tonight. And because of that, I want to thank you for tuning in. And with that being said, this is Brother Rich, Billy Carson, Ashera Star Goddess, and we are signing out, family. I will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.